Opposition leaders today in Abuja are meeting. We'll be finding out what exactly is the meeting about. Is it about the coalition? About readjusting the strategies of the opposition ahead of 2027? Former spokesperson to President Muhammadu Buhari is releasing a book and explaining and defending the former President Muhammadu Buhari. Garba Shewu's book will be out, and it says the former president is very decent. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight on the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Seun here in Abuja. Let's begin by letting you know that Mr. Garba Shehu, you may have not seen him on television or hear him in a long time since President Muhammadu Buhari left office, but he's back in the eyes of the public now, releasing a book about his time serving in the presidency. Literally, did a lot of people know that he was handed over to Muhammadu Buhari by Atiku Abubakar. All of this is he explained in his new book. He had a press conference earlier today. Let me allow you to listen to part of what he said about the book, which will be launched soon.
I still stand by what I said some time back. It's not as if Buhari was burying a bomb under the bed when he was leaving. By subsidy issue had been planned for. If you read the 2023 budget, it was to be funded up to June. Who approves the budget? It is the National Assembly. The National Assembly has a representative from your constituency, from my constituency, from all over Nigeria. There are people who love the country, who love their constituents. They approve the budget, and the budget says subsidy ends by June. We had reached that level point where petrol was being sold as it was being brought into the country, and there was no subsidy. You just had to plan that you must win the election. For God's sake, Tinubu is an APC president. APC is our party. And Buhari is an APC man. So he could not have planned to undermine his successor from the same political party.
To find out in that book. And tonight, our first major conversation is about food production, food security under the President Bola Tinubu. Well, you heard it. And the President has mentioned this a few times now. He says he wants to make agric sexy again. What is the definition of sexy? We'll be finding out. But first, let me serve you with some of your political roundup stories.
St. Lucia has conferred its highest national honor, Knight Commander of the Order of St. Lucia, on President Bola Tinubu in recognition of his efforts to strengthen the historical and cultural bonds between Africa and the Caribbean. The formal investiture was performed by the Governor-General of St. Lucia, Errol Charles, at the official reception for President Tinubu at the Government House, Morn Fortune, St. Lucia. President Tinubu, who will now add the honorific of Sir to his numerous titles, expressed deep appreciation to the government and people of St. Lucia for the honor.
One thing I must promise you with this honor and your presence here is to continue to work hard. Look at the relationship. Put honest through day's work and connect our two people
in furtherance of the efforts to provide constant electricity. There are more decisions being made to collaborate, and today the Niger Delta Power Holding Company signed a joint development agreement firming the partnership with the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, and Higher Technologies International to deploy a 10 megawatts solar photovoltaic PV embedded power solution to Chalawa Industrial Area in Kano under the Light Up Nigeria initiative for powering industrial clusters. This milestone event will enable vulnerable businesses in Kano State unlock access to quality, uninterruptible and affordable electricity through renewable energy sources, which aims to transform productivity that will impact business bottom lines very significantly and enhance socioeconomic development in Kano.
For us, this is a milestone event because it's a first of a kind partnership with our sister agency that is also private sector driven, with an entity that has the capacity and the resources and the competence.
The Senate has postponed the zonal public hearing on constitutional review for the Northwest region as a mark of respect for the late elder statesman and philanthropist Alhaji Aminu Dantata, who passed recently in Saudi Arabia. The announcement was made during plenary today by the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, who paid glowing tributes to Dantata's life and legacy. He described the deceased as a highly respected figure whose contributions to national development warrant national recognition. The House of Representatives is drawing attention to an impending security crisis in Niger State. This follows a motion of urgent national importance by Honorable Shehu Saleh on the free movement of armed bandits in Magama Rijau Federal Constituency in Niger State. The House is urging the Chief of Defense Staff to urgently deploy the military to flush out the bandits. Former PDP governorship candidate in Lagos State, Mr. Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran, also known as Jandor, has launched an independent campaign group, ICG, to support APC candidates in Lagos State's upcoming local government elections. The group aims to galvanize massive support for the APC across the state's 377 wards. Mr. Adediran, who emphasized the importance of quality representation at the grassroots level and reiterated his commitment to the APC's success, described the initiative as a continuation of his passion for grassroots development and inclusive governance.
We have a coordinator alongside other 20-50 people that will be armed with materials of handbills, hand fans, posters and t-shirts that will go from door to door and be campaigning for all these candidates, whether or not we know them.
Academic and administrative activities at the main campus of the recently named Victor Omololu Olunloyo Polytechnic in Ibadan, formerly known as Polytechnic Ibadan, were disrupted following a peaceful protest by students opposing the move by Governor Seun Makinde. There had been a subtle resistance and condemnation from students and some alumni of the institution after the announcement by Governor Makinde to immortalize Olunloyo with the move. The students in their numbers today took the protest beyond their campus to the seat of government at Godi Ibadan to register their complaints.
All right, today prominent faces in the People's Democratic Party, former Vice President, former Senate President, former governors converged at the Transcorp Hilton in Abuja where they met. Well, it's been said that the group of concerned leaders of the People's Democratic Party who met behind closed doors earlier today in Abuja to discuss the current state of the party in the country. In a communique issued after the meeting, the group says deeply concerned over the PDP's decline since it lost power election in the 2023 presidential election and the resignation of Dr. Yocha Ayu as the national chairman. They said the party has struggled with internal divisions and a failure to follow its constitution, leading to instability and a loss of direction. The group also accused the APC-led federal government of undermining democracy by using state institutions to weaken the opposition. Let's now get to the sexy part of the conversation, and that's the words of President Bola Tinubu. He says he wants agriculture to be sexy for Nigerian youths. It was a few days ago that the president launched the Renewed Hope Agricultural Mechanization Program with the hope of engaging 2,000 or getting 2,000 advanced tractors, 50 industrial-grade land preparation bulldozers, 12 fully equipped mobile workshops, and 9,000 plus specialized farming implements. The president says that his administration is fulfilling his promise to Nigerians to position Nigeria as a global powerhouse in agriculture. Let me remind you of what he said.
Please now welcome your
vision extends beyond mere self-sufficiency. We envision Nigeria as a global agricultural powerhouse, supplying quality produce to international markets while ensuring every citizen has access to affordable nutrition food. That's why we took a bold decision to establish this renewed Hope Agricultural Mechanization Program. We are just beginning. This equipment, when deployed, to empower mechanization and service providers, create job opportunities, make farmers easy and more sexy to our younger.
Let's get to understand what sexy means when it comes to agriculture, and whether or not the Nigerian youth understand the sexiness of getting their hands dirty. I'm being joined tonight by the Minister of State for Agriculture, Senator Shabi Abdullah. It's live for us here in our Abuja studio. Thanks so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Seun, for having me.
What is sexiness in the language of President Bola Tinubu?
Well, thank you very much for having me. First, I think it's quite remarkable that we are achieving this milestone because the President is deeply concerned about the state of food insecurity in the country. And like I said, this is a very bold decision, one that has never happened before. The scale of what is being done now is bigger than any other thing that has ever been done. Now, I think to come back to your question directly, of course, the word is just to say very appealing and exciting. And the reason for this is not far-fetched. Record has shown that the perception of the young Nigerians in terms of agriculture is they see agriculture as that, never-do-well vocation that is populated by old, haggard-looking people and so on and so forth. But then the business of agriculture is a serious business. And I think if we are able to tap from the very huge natural endowment of this country, then that very exciting and appealing nature of agriculture can be achieved. The young Nigerians today believe that IT, for example, is a very major, part of their life. And today we are talking about precision agriculture. And in precision agriculture, everything is done at scale. Everything is done with so much precision in terms of the level of, competency that you need to deploy, the level of, expertise that is deployed, and even the types of machineries that you use. So here we are looking at mechanization. Rather than a situation where you are having hoe and cutlass, that is not appealing. And so with mechanization, these particular machines that you've seen are high, very modern, equipment. They are equipped with almost everything modern, including artificial intelligence. And so the capacity, for example, the planters, and even the plows. You are talking about how you are going to be able to prepare the land. And by the time you plant and you see the rows looking very straight, that is appealing. I'm sure if you see anything that is appealing, you enjoy it. And this is being done not by hand, but by machineries. And the young Nigerians are able to, if they are able to take charge of these opportunities, they can do that. And I think that is already even happening. Right?
Let's look at the figures. What are you planning? What are the indices that you're looking at in terms of food production? And how we get to why Nigerian youths need to take on to get their hand dirty? Because AI is there, data science is there.
Data science is there.
Technology is there. So why should they leave that and go into agriculture?
Because agriculture, when done correctly, deploying the right technologies and the right tools is very lucrative. there's a lot of money in agriculture. And I give you an example. If, for example, we are able to deploy the right tool in wheat production, for example, you are capable of producing, say, 4 tons. I'm just even taking something lower, per hectare. Within 3 months, you'll be able to make, per hectare, you'll be able to make almost like 2 million as a gain, if you are able to get it right. And the sexiness here is that deploying the right technology is what will make it sexy.
Would they have the funds? We're talking about people who are in their 19, 20 years of age, who are just getting out of school.
You see,
how do they access those kind of
are the things
facilities?
we're trying to unlock now. As far as these facilities are concerned, what we are looking at is we are targeting the Nigerian youth. We are developing a scheme where we'll be able to get them to form themselves into groups. Because you see, we have universities of agriculture, we have faculties of agriculture, and we have young Nigerians who have gone for training. And what needs to be done is for you to be able to bring them together, let them form some, entities that they can work together, different competencies brought together, and easily they can access some of these facilities. That's what is being looked at. Now, in doing so, together with the state government, we are also looking at a situation where they will be able to have access to land. Because we are looking at various, it's more or less like looking at a bouquet of so many things that have to be done for us to get the agriculture right. For example, cooperatives. We are working very hard to reform the cooperatives so that young Nigerians can also come under cooperatives, use that platform to get machineries that they can use to deploy to their various farms. And I think if we are able to achieve this, the young Nigerians would definitely take it. Because,
Minister,
mark you, we have said it statistically, more than 60% of our Nigerian population are employed in the agricultural sector.
But let's look at it, Minister. We had a setback. 2 years ago or thereabout, we had heavy flooding that washed away Olam's farms and several farms in Benue, Kogi and its environs. There are those who say we have not recovered from it. And from statistics, which shows that food insecurity is affecting about 33 million Nigerians.
Well, you see, all these statistics, I'm not going to speak on that because I don't even know what was the basis, what is the methodology. I have no insight into that. And you see, it's high time as a nation we begin to believe in ourselves. Because when you tell me somebody sits somewhere and says, oh, so number of people, so number of people, so number of people, who collected these data? We have 36 states, an FCT. 774 local governments. Now, I will tell you for a fact that we in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, we have what we call annual performance evaluation, survey that is normally conducted by the Nigerian National Agricultural Extension Research Liaison Services that is based in ABU. They've gone around every rainy season. They are empowered to go around. And the 2024 season, they've gone around. And what was reported is marginal increase. The only crop that did not witness a marginal increase is millet. And the report was presented. We presented the report. Now, at the end of the day also, we are not claiming, and I think I need to score this point very strongly, we are not claiming there are no challenges. There are challenges. But so are challenges all over the world.
But do we have enough food in storage for Nigeria? We are lagging behind, especially in rice production. We are not able to feed ourselves sufficiently. We are not producing as much as we consume.
Listen to me, Seun. Let's get one thing clear. You see, you take only one side of the story all the time. Federal government does not produce. It is Nigerians that produce. And as far as I know, I'm also a farmer. And I relate with farmers on the ground. As a politician, I represented farmers. My senatorial district is 44,000 square kilometers. One of these is about the largest senatorial district. And they are all farmers. So what I want to tell you is simple. That you see, we produce. But what people did not find out is when we produce, what happened to what we produce? This is where the issue is. That's number one. Number two, God forbid, Nigeria has not gotten to that state in which you go to the market and they will tell you there is no food. I don't think that is the situation.
What has happened to the prices recently?
That is what you should be talking about.
Have you crashed the prices?
Now, the prices are going down. In fact, just 2 days ago, I was reading a report about the price of beans. haven't come down. And even the price of, what do they call it, paddy rice is down now. It's not like what it used to be. Now, what I'm telling you is that the whole idea behind the agricultural mechanization scheme and the entire intervention by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is for us to first stabilize the very precarious situation we're in.
Are we stable now, Minister?
We are almost stable.
The president declared a state of emergency.
Yes, we are still in a state of emergency.
We are still there?
Yes, we are still in a state of emergency.
Are we still finding it difficult? Because there is, our doors were open for importation of rice. Is that still going on?
Well, we told you it was just a window, and that window has closed since. It was because of the lean period. So what I want you to know is that there is no one single, solution that you prefer to say you want to solve food system. And that's why the president said Nigeria is now working towards food sovereignty. And what is food sovereignty? A situation where Nigeria will be in total control of its sources and management of all our food sources, which means we shouldn't be dependent.
All the major grains, millet, maize, and rice, we're lagging in production. Give us an understanding, or have we been able to catch up? What has been the statistics over the last 1 or 2 years?
You see, Seun, let's not rush statistics. Let's look at
because I have the data, but since you are not interested in the data...
No, excuse me.
Since you are not interested in the data... I will not be interested
because I don't know the source of the data, that's number one. I don't know the methodology in which the data were collected.
But you should know how much of rice we consume, Minister.
I don't know the time frame within which those data were collected. I'm a researcher. Nobody can bamboozle me with data.
But it's easy for us to...
No, Seun,
it's easy for us to calculate, Minister.
Listen. What I want you to know is this. Why not let's talk about what is the situation on ground? You see, we talk about 2,000 tractors. Remember, that is just the federal government. And don't forget, because of the very visionary leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the fact that under the auspices of the National Economic Council, chaired by the Vice President, His Excellency Kashim Shettima, there is a lot of work going on. Together with the economic management team and every other thing, we have the Presidential Food System Coordinating Unit, in which all of us are members with state governors. What we are looking at is, how do we close all the gaps?
This is the question I'm asking, Minister. Have we been able to close the gap?
That is exactly
we were in a precarious situation.
Listen, that is what I'm telling you now.
To declare state of emergency. Where are we right now?
You are asking the question. Ask the question.
I've asked the question. Where are we right now?
While I'm talking, listen to me.
Where are we right now, Minister?
We are making progress.
Okay.
I want to say very clearly we are making progress. And you see, let's not deceive ourselves. We are not magicians. And we are not promising anybody that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, oh, he's going to perform magic. When he does one thing, bam, it's gone. No. But what I can assure you is that while we are stabilizing, remember when you are stabilizing something, it comes in gradual phases. And so what we've realized is that first, why did we even get into where we are? There are challenges we cannot fight just because you don't have control over them. The climate change phenomenon is one. That's why you talked about the flooding. Isn't it? Now, as much as we cannot control flooding, but we need to change course. We need to look at the strategies. And looking at the strategies is first, out of the 93 million hectares of arable land Nigeria has, we are cultivating just about 34 million. Now, even in that 34 million, at what productivity level? The productivity is low because we are using, more or less like hoe and cutlass. So, the idea of this mechanization, implements, and all the like is to definitely reduce the drudgery associated with all this production system. Let me show you one example. Somebody had 10 hectares of rice, and he did it in a plain, where usually Fadama plain and whatnot, and sometimes with rains. Before he could finish harvesting, rains has already started, the water has flooded. If it's with machinery, because he's using manual, if it's with machinery, this type of combined harvester that we have just brought, definitely it will take in just 1 day, 2 days.
All right,
maximum.
Yeah.
So all of these issues, all of these issues are the things we are looking at to ensure that our production system begins to get improvement in a way that we will never have to go back to where
Because I was going to ask you, the over 2,000 mechanized implements that the president launched. And he said he's looking at the globalization of our agricultural production. Meaning that not only that we will feed ourselves, but we'll
be
also
able to produce. Yes, we have the capacity.
But the big question here is that how do you get these 2,000 to the local to the local environment, knowing that subsistence farming is still very popular in our, and there are those who will say, look, even the farmers are unable to go to farms in many states of the country.
Yes.
In the northeast of the country, in Benue State, in
some
part of
parts,
Nasarawa, in some part of the
Shehu,
country. There is still issue of insecurity.
Yes.
Are the farmers able to go back to farms? What are the assurances?
As precarious as the situation looks like, please, let's recognize progress that have been made. There are areas where farmers have been able to go back. And I think the case of Kaduna State is very clear. The Beningwari axis, for years, more than 10 years, they were not able to go to farm. Now that place has been secured back for farming. So I'm not saying that everything is gone. No, there are still challenges. And the president is not lying low as far as the challenges are concerned. And that's why the security agents are always being given that marching order by Mr. President, as he has done in Benue State, and to try to what? Get farmers to go back. And there are many other communities that are also making effort. But if they go back, we need to support them to what? To produce. And this is where these implements are useful. Now, what we have done is that we are having, right now, that is the work being done. We are looking at a proposal in which states will also be given part of these tractors based on a program that we are looking at to support, food production. We are having the farmers' organization or associations. They also will be beneficiaries. We are having the cooperatives. They also will be beneficiaries. We are having young Nigerian farmers or youth, very youthful Nigerians that have formed themselves into farming clusters. They also will be beneficiaries. And what we are looking at here is that there's going to be some element of subsidy involved. And all of these things will also be accompanied with training of the what? Those who are even going to drive these tractors, because they have to be trained. It's all part of the package. And that's why we are saying we have 12 well-equipped mobile training vans. All of this is to service all of this equipment. So it's not just buying and dumping. Yeah. No, we want it to really serve the purpose.
Minister, yeah. There was a signed deal of $1 billion agreement with Brazil to enhance agriculture.
That is the GIP.
The GIP.
That is the
How far with it? What's the ultimate?
They are in the process of setting off. It's a project, and it's not a one-year project. It's a long-term project.
Okay.
Now, most of the, I think they are doing the staffing now, trying to do this administrative setup. They need to have all of those things. I think that's what they are doing now. It's still on.
All right. Yeah. But largely, and this is perhaps where I like us, right? The assurances a lot of Nigerians need.
Yeah.
We do not want to see a situation, even when President Tinubu gets out of office, where another government will come and declare a state of emergency on food security. What are we doing? Are we being deliberate in terms of storage, in terms of futuristic plan of sustainability? Nigeria was an agro economy.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Yeah.
What happened to have we learned from it? Going forward, how are we consolidating to ensure that we are no longer oil hungry to the point that we forget other aspects of our economy?
Well, thank you very much. In the first instance, when you even talk about food security, the moment that is not happening on a sustainable basis, that person is not food secure. For you to be food secure, you need to have access to food, which must be available, and it should also be affordable. And you must be able to have that right nutritious, content. And we believe very strongly that Nigeria has diversity and variety in this. That's why as a ministry, we have carefully looked at, from the south to the north, the 6 geopolitical zones. We've taken a very careful look at the various food types that they have. And to that extent,
peculiar to them.
Yes, peculiar to them. And so what we have done now is that we are having a policy guide now, because you asked what are we doing intentionally. Intentionally, we have now identified what we call the Tier 1 crops. The Tier 1 crops are the things that from Lagos to Kano, Maiduguri, everywhere they are consumed. And I think everybody knows that. We are talking about rice, we are talking about wheat. Wheat product is anything that has to do with cake, bakeries, bread, and all the like. And then we are talking about beans, we are talking about yam, potato. So we have done carefully that,
cassava, I guess.
Yeah, cassava, including tomatoes, onions and the like. I think we have about 11 crops, if I'm not mistaken. Then we looked at the Tier 2 crops that is consumed maybe 75% of the locations. And in the other one, maize is also part of it. So what we are doing now is that we are trying to be more intentional so that we can put our money where our mouth is. Now, we also realized we cannot depend on rainy season, dry season. No, we have to now do what we call all year round cropping, which means if you are able to harvest your crop after 4 months, if you have access to water, then you should continue cropping. And I think we are encouraging a number of our farmers in the areas where these advantages are. And along that side also, we are looking at the various irrigation facilities that we're having. In terms of the equipment, for example,
maybe greenhouse farming.
Yeah, solar, what do they call it, facilities, using renewable energy to power the irrigation, machineries. Now, that also we are considering, and we are doing, as far as some of the programs we are already doing are concerned, and we are seeing the kind of result that is giving us. So what we are saying in essence is that for sustainability's sake, Nigeria must do the right thing. And that is why one of the other adjunct to it is the fact that where do we plant? We plant on the soil. And if the soil is not healthy, you cannot get anything. You just be wasting your time. So that's why we're introducing the National Soil Health Scheme, which will soon be launched again, hopefully by Mr. President, but definitely is already up for launch. Now, this is to help farmers identify the type of fertilizer they need per soil and how they are also going to apply it. Because in some soil, they don't need certain fertilizer, but farmer will just go and throw fertilizer. That is waste of money. We really need to bring down the cost of production in agriculture.
Thank you so much, Minister.
So these are part of the things we are doing, and many other more, because honestly, we've been working.
You look food secured. You don't look like... You don't look like...
I give glory to God.
You don't look like the economy of Nigeria.
And you exactly look very food secure. Thanks to what we are doing.
Thank you so much, Minister.
Thank you very much.
Senator Shabi Abdullah, Minister of State for Agriculture. Thanks so much indeed.
Thank you.
And I wish you the very best.
Thank you.
We'll take a break, everyone. But when we return, the Director General of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria will be talking to us. We are very concerned about productivity in this economy. How far? What we're seeing on the ground, what is the Nigerian government promise in terms of production environment to allow private sector to thrive? Is that really happening? They are praising the Tinubu economic concept after this break as well.
In the 21st century, Nigeria cannot be an independent nation without technology independence.
In a world racing towards the future, out of Africa is Zynox Technologies, a Nigerian tech group with major global certifications, proven capacity and a bold vision to domesticate world-class technologies.
From powering critical government infrastructure, homes and businesses, to delivering some of Africa's most integrated ICT projects, we are redefining what's possible, and we take responsibility. And with our efficient high-power renewable energy solutions, we are bringing sustainable power to homes and businesses.
Let's build a stronger tech nation, powered by Zynox. Zynox. Anticipate the future.
The best thing we are doing now is putting housing on the front burner of our needs. We have a successful inclusiveness and the loan that is necessary for our people to get educated and invest in their own life. We will build a fair society. We will launch a bold new initiative to empower 400,000 young Nigerians, including youth corpers, with consumer credit. The dream is realizable. The way we are going, we have a road that will outlive all of us. That is how to build the future.
Powered by Grassroots Movement for Tinubu GMT, Ondo State Chapter. GMT, in God we trust.
Mama! Hello, my darling Lola. How was was your honeymoon? Hope Victor made you happy.
He was lovely and strong.
To keep Victor strong, you must feed him tasty, nourishing food.
Of course, Mama. Victor loves good food. Mama, see how happy you've been with Binatone all your life. I got a yam powder, juicer, smoothie maker, air fryer, kettle, microwave, rice cooker, toaster, and many more.
Binatone, available nationwide.
No matter what life throws at your family, no matter the condition, day or night, it's a mind of F. Not yourself, I know when my daddy, mommy, auntie, and uncle. It's a mind of F. No matter who you are, a mind of F, 10 over 10.
Amino Pep Fort contains 10 essential amino acids, multivitamins, minerals enriched with zinc.
No matter who you are, Amino Pep 10 over 10.
Amino Pep Fort from Seagrain Pharmaceuticals Limited.
Protects you and your family.
The Duchess International Hospital opened its doors in October 2021. The mission of the hospital is to reverse medical tourism. We take particular care here at the Duchess to bring together a combination of the brightest and the best locally, as well as Nigerians in the diaspora who are interested in returning to do very good work for the benefit of our patients here in this country.
The good thing is that we have all international expertise here, all international facilities here, international people working here. Everything is coming together in a space which was considered not great in terms of the availability of healthcare.
Access Bank, of course, has been able to provide us with a robust range of products and services that has enabled us to deliver that standard and quality of healthcare that is integral to our mission as an organization.
Hey, SPAC, this on our agenda, please.
Shopping, ma'am. Now that's the glow you've longed for.
Girl, there's something special about your shine. It feels different.
Well, I connected with the one who treats me right.
In a world where beauty is a reflection of your inner shine, Cosmo ignites the spark within, offering not just care, but a journey to radiance reborn. With a wide range of personal care products, Cosmo nurtures you with the extra care you deserve.
That's the Cosmo effect.
Cosmo, for the love of beauty. Marketed and distributed by GVS Cosmetics.
Our major currency unit is the Naira, while the minor unit is the Kobo. They are both in notes and coins. The Naira is more than just a medium of exchange. It bears the images of our heroes. So, stop abusing the Naira. It is a criminal offense to spray the Naira at events. Stop stepping on the Naira. It's not your enemy. Do not squeeze, ruffle, or write on the Naira. Handling the Naira with dirty or oily hands can deface the Naira. Love the Naira as you love yourself. Be a real Nigerian.
This message was brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
The Public Accounts Committee of the Senate and House of Representatives invite stakeholders and the general public to a 5-day national conference on public account and fiscal governance with the theme, Charging a New Course for Transparency and Sustainable Development. This conference will strategically explore innovative reforms, strengthen public sector accountability, and lay the groundwork for a more transparent and development-focused fiscal governance framework. Date, Sunday 6th to Thursday 10th July 2025. Venue, Congress Hall Transcorp Hilton, Abuja. Time, 10 a.m. daily. The conference, which will be declared open by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, expect participants from the Nigerian Governors Forum, Conference of Speakers of State Assemblies, Chairmen and Clerks of State Public Account Committees, and all other major stakeholders. Chief host, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, Senate President, and His Excellency Dr. Abbas Tajuddin, Speaker, House of Representatives. For registration, partnership, sponsorship, and other details, please use the following numbers and email. Signed, Senator Ahmed Ali Wadada and Representative Bamjidi Salam, Chairman, Public Accounts Committees of the Senate and House of Representatives, National Assembly, Abuja.
It's finally here, the day we've all been waiting for. The coronation ceremony of His Royal Majesty, Michael Eshoronoya Olonufemi Sado, the Okwopelagbe of Okwela Kingdom. Join us live on July 5th, 2025 at the Ebeba Primary School, Okube Okwela, Edo State, as we witness the coronation ceremony of our King, His Royal Majesty, Engineer Michael Eshoronoya Olonufemi Sado, the Okwopelagbe of Okwela Kingdom. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Senator Monday Okpebolo, Executive Governor of Edo State. Signed, High Chief Hansen Aimofume, Chairman Planning Committee. For inquiries, call 0803-360-7379. Barrister Akuri Afegwa, Palace Secretary. Long live the King. Our glory is back.
Binatone blenders and smoothie makers makes cooking simple, easy, and tasty. Unbreakable jar. Most efficient, sturdy, and reliable with 9 great models to choose from. Get your Binatone blender and smoothie maker now. That's why professionals love Binatone.
You will get more satisfaction.
Binatone, simply better.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. Let's speak with the Director General of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Seun Ajayi Kadiri, who is live for us in our Lagos studio to speak on the situation and the state of the economy in Nigeria. It's good to speak to you tonight, Mr. Kadiri.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to speak with you.
Let me begin the conversation by finding out what is the state of the economy as far as the manufacturers are concerned.
Okay, generally speaking, it is widely accepted that the economy itself is going through trying times, and that there has been several reforms by this administration that have been lined up and being implemented to get us out of the woods, so to say. So what we'll be measuring will be the impact of those reforms and how the sector, the manufacturing sector, has reacted to it and what is looking forward to. Generally speaking, the manufacturing sector has taken a beating in terms of how it was negatively impacted by the immediate aftershocks of the reforms. But having done 2 years in the reforms, there is some measure of stability, particularly in the exchange rate. We've also seen that inflation is moderating, is no longer skyrocketing, and the interest rate remains a challenge. These 3 factors have impacted severely the performance of the sector, but like I said, we are noticing a moderation, and we are looking forward to the next 2 years when the so-called dividends of those reforms must start to manifest. We are also looking forward to the incoming tax act, the 4 tax laws, how they are going to positively impact the sector. So from where we are coming, the sector has been negatively impacted by the prevailing economic situation and the reforms, but going into the last 2 years of this administration, I think there are signs that if we continue on the trajectory we are going in moderating the impact and ensuring that we stay on course, there might be a light at the end of the tunnel.
I know you mentioned policies. You've touched on the newly signed tax laws and how that could also impact going forward on productivity, because when you take manufacturing out of things, our productivity, that's a huge percentage of Nigeria's productivity. But first and foremost, let's look at it this way. One of the major economic decisions of this government, in fact, the very first one, because the government has not even started when the president removed subsidy. And the removal of subsidy was one major economic decisions that are really impacted on the economy. Now we're seeing price wars. In fact, Dangote has really recently announced a slash in price from 880 naira to 840. In that, a lot of people, and Dangote, we understand also, had reduced or said there will be a free distribution of products in parts of the country. From your own point of view, how impactful is the removal of fuel subsidy? And some of what we are seeing between Dangote and the other players in the sector, especially in the downstream, what exactly do you think is going on?
Okay, so the removal of fuel subsidy, I think everybody has come to a realization that if we didn't stop subsidy will stop us or kill us, as some people say. So I think nobody should have any hang-on about whether we should remove the fuel subsidy or not. So when the president announced it, it was a fait accompli. It's the best thing for the country to do at that time, and so we have since moved on. But the immediate impact, I must tell you, has been devastating for the manufacturing sector. The removal of the fuel subsidy moved up logistics costs, increased inflation, and so on and so forth. But you see, one very good thing that the administration has done, and I think that's the reason why many people should give them some benefit of doubt, is the fact that after the removal of the fuel subsidy, there has been a number of reform measures that has been taken by the administration that has given respite in that sector. And that leads me to the second question you asked, is the impact of Dangote, the Dangote phenomenon. What this has done is to draw particular attention that private sector investment is key and that government really has no business in doing business. They should just create the enabling environment and allow the private sector to thrive. With the coming of Dangote, we have seen that we are going to resume, or we have resumed as net exporters of petroleum products. But before it came, we were importing fuel, which has been seen as a tragedy for Nigeria. We are producing crude, we have to export it, subject ourselves to all the shocks in the international environment, and of course the war in the Middle East and so on. So by now, we'll have been talking of the price of a liter of petrol, more than 1,200, 1,300, 1,400. But what we are seeing is that it is tumbling down. And that's the power that private sector brings into the equation. The fact that you can now eliminate the cost of distribution, which has been a major issue. The middlemen were just milking Nigerians and making it impossible for it to even reach far-flung places. But when a company is able to absorb 1 trillion naira in terms of distribution cost across the country, and is able to ensure that we have an efficient, effective, and reliable supply across the country, you must just applaud this, and to ensure that we continue to allow competitiveness, we continue to allow private sector to thrive, we continue to create an environment that allows private sector to have a handshake with government in terms of charting the trajectory of our economic development. As it is now, we are likely to continue to pay less, while internationally the price of petroleum product is going up. And that is the only way you can insulate the economy, create energy resilience, ensure that we bring down the cost of production. Last year, for instance, manufacturers spent more than 2 trillion naira in terms of, we had 2 trillion on sold inventory and 1 trillion in terms of alternative source of energy, largely diesel. So you can see that the prices are tumbling down, and it's going to reach places that hitherto have had to suffer a lot of lack of electricity supply.
Mr. Kadri, if I may jump in quickly. So you look at the downstream sector, especially the distribution, that chain, because the midstream, Dangote is involved in terms of production and refining. And in the distribution and cargoing or transportation of product, that's another sector. There are those who think that, isn't this monopoly? How will one company be able to now, it does look like the jobs of other companies are being taken over.
I used to think, I mean, from the little economics I know, I think why people condemn monopoly is that it does not allow for competition, it does not allow for efficiency, and it does not allow for value, I mean, to the average citizen. But what this, and of course, it's not a monopoly. I mean, we have other players in the sector. If they are not playing well, if they are inefficient, if they are comatose, you wouldn't blame a player. So, but what this one has done is that we are having a positive benefit from a player. There are other refineries, but they have not gone the whole hog. And those who play in the movement of the products, what have they delivered? Long queues, unavailability, closure of many filling stations across the country, price unpredictability, and complete lack of energy sufficiency across the country. But I do not call this a monopoly. You cannot blame anyone for producing and ensuring effective delivery. For us in the manufacturing sector,
I mean, for those who will say Dangote slashed price by 40 naira per liter, 880 naira to 840, it sounds like good news to a lot of people. Free distribution and transportation of the product across the country. Nigeria has over 11,000 petrol stations, about 20-something or so marketers and the rest. But this might serve immediate, or it might be of immediate benefit. But what about the long term? From a manufacturer's point of view, what do you see about the long-term effect? Yes, immediate buffer, but what about the long haul?
Yeah, so if I may use what is the Gen Z is called joy is coming. That's what I see the long term. It's going to be better. I see the price coming down to 800. And that's what manufacturers want. I just told you now that last year, I think it was, we spent as much as 1.1 trillion in terms of providing alternative power. Apart from the fact that even the quality of the products is not guaranteed. So in the near future, I continue to see continued reduction in the price of diesel. I continue to see that engaging in mother and daughter delivery of CNG, station of CNG, is going to take it to far-flung places where they are not available. It will increase productivity. I also see a situation where other players will be encouraged to come into the field, because that is what it takes. I don't think that we should use sentiment to dissuade any investor from improving the life and well-being of the people. You can imagine how many small and medium-scale enterprises have had to close because they do not have access to electricity. We enjoyed only about 18 hours of supply last year, and there were at least 3 to 4 outages a day. It's not good for production. But if you are able to have adequacy of supply of diesel and of even CNG gas across the country, I mean, this is a major improvement in one of the areas that manufacturers have suffered. 40% of our cost of production is in energy, and there has been intense inadequacy of this. So I believe that there are better days coming, and we should continue to encourage more of Dangote's, and for government to even further incentivize Dangote so that we can completely crash the price. Fuel scarcity should be a thing of the past. This is the only time that our oil, our endowment in terms of oil is now a blessing to us and not a curse. So, and I believe that we should all give effective support, to this initiative, and to encourage many more. I'm looking forward to having 2 or 3 other Dangotes who have invested in this sector, so that we can move on and do the business of running an economy. I do not think that we should be petty about what is to be delivered in our economy. Nigeria has no business suffering energy poverty, and we should just move on and run a country that works.
So you look at it, Nigeria had 4 refineries, and there are now controversies about the functionality of the refinery. And interesting that our conversation has now tilted to oil and gas, because all of these also have effect on productivity, especially on the bottom line for manufacturers. But the big question, because energy and transportation is a fulcrum, is at the heart of the job or the work of manufacturers in this country. You look at the refineries, Mr. Kaduri. The tales that we hear about the government-owned refineries and how the state-run NNPCL are managing it, and you look at the Dangotes of this world. Is this the large-scale market determination that we have always been talking about? Is it what is at play?
Okay, honestly, Seun, if you ask me my view, government should just sell these refineries. Give it to private sector people who will run it efficiently and who will be able to deliver. You see, when something belongs to everybody, it belongs to nobody. So, I think the truth of it is that we should learn that Nigeria is too big to be pocketed. We have too many resilient, hardworking Nigerians that are ready to make good of private business. I think government should partner with those people and let us run an economy. Those 4 refineries we are talking about, they are just pure drain on the Nigerian economy. And it is not fair on the Nigerian people. We should have a situation where we are able to speak truth to ourselves and ensure that we encourage private sector investment. It's our natural endowment. We are the 6th largest producer of crude oil in the world, and yet we suffer. I can tell you that if you completely go private, it will be difficult for anybody to steal. It will be difficult for anybody to be unaccountable. It will be difficult for anybody to have a situation where you have continuously insinuations that there's massive fraud anywhere. So I do not subscribe to the view that we are creating a monopoly. Those 4 other refineries are competitors. And we have been told that one is working now. I've been told that the thing is no longer working. You should give it to people who should ensure that it works.
Yeah, Mr. Kaduri, let's wrap up now. If there is one thing that will favor the marketers, because whatever we talked about, the free distribution that Dangote is doing with products across the country, the slashing of price, which of course will allow Nigerians to spend less in buying petrol. But the big question is, this is a private sector-led initiative. From a manufacturer's point of view, what is one thing that you think this government should do to help productivity and make the lives of manufacturers better?
Okay, so I would say, particularly because we are talking about the oil and gas sector, I think government should completely privatize all the other refineries. This will ensure that the Naira for crude policy is sustainable and adequately funded and supported. We should ensure that even in terms of electricity supply, that we do something about the obviously incompetent discourse that we have, and ensure that we are able to drive investment into the sector to guarantee supply. We should also ensure that we have a situation where we tackle insecurity. I mean, because it's becoming a disincentive for investment. 60% of our members in the Northeast have closed shop. And I believe that with increased security, we'll be able to put life into all these areas. Yes.
Thank you so much. Mr. Seun Ajayi Kadiri is the Director General of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN. Thank you so much for your insight tonight. It's good to know how the manufacturers are feeling. They're a major component in our economic ecosystem. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you, Seun. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. And that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Seun Akimale. God bless Nigeria.